Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to do a sketchbook session of Yor and Anya from the hit anime Spy X Family. As we know, season 2 is either currently airing or almost done or done, and I really enjoyed the series, so I wanted to do a little fan art in my sketchbook. I haven't done like a traditional art in a while, and that's because I've been super busy. I've even been behind on my digital art, so traditional art has been put on a much more of a back burner. But I decided that since I'm finished with exams and I have a little extra time before I have to go back home for a winter break, I decided to redraw Yor, but this time in my actual sketchbook. So here I'm doing the line art. I had a little issue with the line art because I had a brush pen that was really nice for doing like hair and stuff. But as I was doing the first drawing, I realized that my brush pen ran out of ink, or the ink actually like dried out while it was not being used. So I had to switch to a couple of different pens, including this bullet pen that I found in my art supplies. So I decided to use that. So this hair is not as smooth as I would like it to be and flowy, but at the end of the day, it actually like worked out in the end. So I was happy about that. So I decided to do three drawings of Yor. Two of them is which she is in her usual assassin's dress with her weapons and her hairpiece and everything. And then one drawing of Yor is in her red sweater outfit, which I really love. I wish I could find a sweater actually like for me to wear, because I really like Yor's sweater outfit, but I can't find any good ones online. But yeah, I really wanted to do that sweater outfit because I really think that is an iconic outfit for Yor. And then the last drawing is of Anya just hanging out at the top in her usual school uniform. So I didn't have much issues besides the one with the issue with the brush pen when it came to the line art. I just thought it would be a nice process to show in the video, because line art can be very satisfying or very stressful. For me, it just depends. Like this time it was a little stressful because of the whole brush pen situation, but usually I don't really too mind line art. I know like really early in my art journey, if you guys probably saw from some of my older videos, I barely ever used line art because line art was just a very stressful process for me, because I always felt like the sketch always looks better than the line art and the line art just looks whack, and I never used to like my art because of that. So I just stopped using line art for like years. And then I slowly got back into line art when I realized that line variation makes a big deal when it comes to art, because line variation can really make or break line art. So this is me trying to practice it in like the traditional form, because I've been practicing that in my digital form and been experimenting a bit, but I haven't really been able to practice my traditional drawing. So I decided to practice this here and see if I liked it. And I did think it came out a lot better than like my typical like lineless art. But at the same time, I'm not 100% satisfied with it, and it could be because that I don't really have a lot of practice with traditional art, so I just need to rebuild those skills once again that I lost from before. But you know, what do you guys think? Do you think the line art looks okay or decent, or do you think it's like, okay, yeah, you need to practice again and do some more work with traditional drawing? So honestly, when I was looking back at the footage, I realized that the footage would be way too long to just do regular speed, because I'm very slow when it comes to drawing. Some people could whip up like a sketch in like 10-15 minutes. For me, that's going to take like around 30 minutes, especially if I'm not sure of what exactly I want to draw. Like for this one, I didn't really have a plan of what I wanted to draw. I just knew I wanted it to be Spy X Family related and probably incorporate Yor in some way or form. So it took me around 30 minutes to do the sketch, which I did off camera. And then the line art took about, I want to say 15-20 minutes. I kind of remember it being 20 minutes, and it makes sense because that would be a typical time I use for line art. And then the coloring took me like almost a half an hour to do, so there was no way I was going to put that in a video, because even I don't have the attention span to like watch a almost 45-minute video at that point. So I realized that, you know, people have stuff to do. They don't really have time to watch like a 45-minute video unless it's kind of like a draw with me session, which I understand because some artists really on YouTube do that. They do like long videos and it's like kind of like a draw with me kind of session. and you can have it in the background while you're drawing, and they're making commentary about their art. But because of the length of the video, I had to speed it up. So right now you're watching it in 3x speed, and that was the only reasonable speed I got. That wasn't too fast, but at the same time, we're not here all day watching me try and attempt to salvage this sketch. So yeah, this sketchbook is actually almost done. I only have like a few more pages left. So maybe I might do a sketchbook tour. I'm not really proud of all my drawings in here because I feel like there's a large gap between some of my drawings from before and after. So you'll see like great improvement in some drawings rather than others because I had the sketchbook for a really long time. And then there'll be some pages where it's just like even after the improvement it still looks bad, and that's because I took a break from drawing traditionally and I'm trying to get back in. This may be one of these drawings that is like I took a break from drawing traditionally, so it looks a little worse than some of the other drawings from before. So I'm not 100% super proud of it, but I've seen a lot of artists come out and say that even though they're not proud of their sketchbooks, they still do a tour because it's good to show like young impressionable artists that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay for your sketchbook to look messy because it's your personal item and it's basically an artist's diary. So it's okay for them to not look your best as how you would want it, and to show that not everything has to be perfect for the camera. It just has to be, your own work that you're proud of. So I really like that, kind of like that lesson behind like showing off a messy sketchbook. So I indeed might actually do it. I'm just really thinking about it. So right now I'm doing the coloring. So I don't have a lot of like traditional colors that are in like the same type of family. For instance, there might be a color missing from the Poscas that I have for the alcohol markers and vice versa. So I had to really be creative and use a lot of mixed media to get this sketchbook session and to get the characters in the show to look accurate to color. So I had to use Posca for her dress because I didn't have an alcohol-based marker that was dark enough to make that dark dress. I had to use like this paint marker for the gold trimmings, and then for her eyes, I used alcohol markers, and then for her hair, I just basically used the same pens that I had from before to do the line art, and just kind of like colored it in and try to leave some gaps to show like highlights and stuff. So that's what I had to do. I'm sorry if it doesn't look like professional because of me using like multiple different medias just to get it to be color accurate. But I felt like color accuracy is a lot more important when it comes to fan art than like actually using like the same type of art supply. For me, if I was doing like my own character or like something that was not, a pre-existing character, then I probably would have just gone for like, I just want to use all my alcohol markers and don't incorporate the Posca unless it's like a background decoration. But since I was going for color accuracy, I had no choice. But I think it didn't take away too much from the sketches. I think it actually like really show like the different characters, and they're recognizable, which I really like when I do fan art that's recognizable instead of like me messing up the fan art somehow and it doesn't look like the character at all. So the paint marker you see me using is a gold paint marker that I really like. However, it ran out of ink as I was doing this piece. So the big like weapons that yours have in the middle of the like spread, I didn't even get the color fully because it ran out of ink, which was surprising because it's fairly new. But then again, it could have dried out from not being used as often. So that's just kind of like a me thing. I was worried that a lot of my like alcohol markers would have dried out too, because those are a lot more expensive, so I'll be even more upset if that was the case. But luckily, all the alcohol markers I tried out for this piece were still nice and smooth and went down really nice and smooth like how alcohol markers should. So I didn't have any problems with them, so I was happy about that because they're kind of expensive to replace. And the alcohol markers I have right now are Artist Loft and Copics, and I know that Copics you could get refills for, but I know for Artist Loft I don't think you get refills for those. I think it's only the Copics because they're kind of like bougie, so that's probably the reason. So I would have had to replace those alcohol markers. I am thinking about investing in Ohuhu markers because I've heard they're very good and they're like a cheaper version of Copics, because there's no way I'll be able to save up enough money to like get the full Copic set. But I don't do traditional art as much, so I'm not really sure how much of my money I'm going to get out of it. So I'm still contemplating whether that's a good investment or I should just leave it alone and just work my way for what I have. But we'll see. So right now I'm doing Anya, and I needed to pull up a picture because I wasn't really like 100% sure of Anya's colors. And I realized as well that her hair is not super accurate because I couldn't get a bubblegum pink because I didn't have one in my Copics, and I didn't have a Posca marker that would actually look well put down on Anya's hair. So I had to improvise and just use this other pink one that I had that I was using for the highlights of your sweater. So hopefully it still looks like Anya. I think it does. I think that the pink that I used wasn't too dark, and I think you could still recognize the character. But I really hope that it actually still looks like Anya. And then I messed up her eyes. Anya was giving me such a hard time, which is very fair to the type of character she is. She's very all over the place. So her eyes, I didn't have the right color for her eyes for the alcohol markers, so I had to use Poscas, and I only had like the big like tip Poscas that were in the bright green for Anya's eyes. So I tried doing it at first and I messed up, and then a while later, like after putting out all the final touches, I tried again and it actually worked out decently well. So hopefully it's not too noticeable that I messed up Anya's eyes, because I didn't have the right color, so it didn't turn out as well as I wanted to. But that's okay, it's a sketchbook, so it's going to be a little messy. So I'm just gonna have to live with it and just hope that I don't hate my art like after. So I zoomed out because right now I'm just doing the final touches, because I do have some other stuff I wanted to fill in. I wanted to color in the background and stuff and make sure everything looked decent. I do have to say that I need to practice more traditional art, and I say that because the sketches that I have were not like to how I wanted them to be. I felt like the eyes were a bit too big. I felt like the poses could be a bit more creative. But I'm proud of the fact that after months of not doing traditional art, I was able to sit down and draw something that I would want to be on camera. And that means that even though I haven't done traditional art in months, I still have some skills left. So hopefully once winter break comes around, I can actually practice more traditional art and get some of the skills that I really had from before back. I'm not saying I was a prodigy back then, but I actually had some skills that I really liked that I want to try again in my art. And this is just me doing a zoom in of the art, so you can see all the details. And then this is just how the art turned out. I added some blood splatters because I thought it would have been kind of cool. And this is it for the video. Bye bye.